that's what we're getting to, is that exactly to that point, that now life imitates art as opposed to the other way around. Because now you've got people that are going to idolize that life or that situation. So you're going to find that maybe you've got someone who's in an abusive relationship. They watch that show, okay, and how it panned out, and then their husband love bombs them, and they're going to say, okay, then it's fine, the abuse is resolved or the situation has been resolved, simply because they saw you know, these two characters that they've idolized, and the dynamic there.
And there is a responsibility about, you can't or rather maybe that's the discussion, like what is the responsibility, and to what point does it start and end for like the creator? You know, because now you've decided to touch on a topic, but you've not now fleshed out that topic. You don't have to go into every detail of that particular thing, right? But at least some proper resolution to it. But now in the story of the lady who posted in that group, where it took her 19 years to actually realize that I was being abused, she's probably been watching all of these shows, but nothing necessarily there was educational enough to actually say, by the way, these things that are happening to you is actually abuse, right?
Yes.
So if it took her that long, where is she gonna figure out to actually, I can complain with something she doesn't actually...
The difference with abusive relationships is that it's also psychological, because it gets to the point where we were saying with Shannon that it really gets to you psychologically. Your self-esteem is shattered. You know, you sometimes think that it's your fault, that you need to do something to correct yourself so that the abuse can stop, you know. And that's also because of the narrative that's always been painted there, where I'm going to go home to my parents or to someone to ask for assistance, that I'm in an abusive relationship, and the first question they ask me is not what happened, are you okay, but what did you do to make him angry? You know, it's that then you start believing
differential
Exactly,
reinforcement.
And there's a lot of manipulation.
Yes.
They can't all be crazy. I must be crazy.
Because there's the gaslighting that happens, you know.
Gaslighting,
Exactly, there's the gaslighting that happens, and you eventually start to believe that you are the cause of the abuse, and sometimes you don't even realize that you are in an abusive relationship, because you then assume that the dynamics of your relationship is normal.
We are very sometimes able to look at things from our perspective. Those perspectives definitely sometimes are from a place of privilege, right? It is not the easiest thing to actually admit, because yes, for you, well, I would have just done this, why don't you do this or do this, or whatever the cases. And then we come back to the education and why the education is so important. One, so many people don't actually realize what's happening to them. Yes, there's times where maybe it might occur to them and they're just like, no. If you're being gaslit, or you've been gaslit for a long time, you have so much doubt in yourself, where you could literally have an argument where someone has said this, and you remember that they said this, but because they say, no, I didn't say that, I said this. Where a person will literally question their sanity and say, okay, maybe because they've been in that experience for months or years or however long it has, and because it's affected your self-esteem or affected you, it's really changing you in that sense, where critical thinking isn't what it used to be.
It doesn't always help, the critical thinking, because the way you're approaching it, by oversimplifying it, unfortunately it also happens like that on social media as well, where should somebody then make their voices heard about them being in an abusive relationship, you get the stories about abuse and someone has been murdered by their partner, etc. The comments under that post are people who oversimplify. She should have left. Why didn't she leave?
Where was the family?
If it were me, I would have done A, B, C, and D. Yeah, it's easy for you to say that because you're not in that position.